Hello and welcome to the Season 7 finale of YXE Underground. I'm Eric Anderson and welcome to the BAM Gallery and Project Space in the basement of the Drinkle Mall in downtown Saskatoon. It's a Saturday night and emerging Saskatoon artist Rowan Dinsmore is hosting her exhibition entitled What Gave You That Impression? Friends, family, and art enthusiasts are here to check out Rowan's stunning paintings, which she has been working on in this space for the past 2 months, thanks to the Bridges Art Movement Artist Collective, also known as BAM. BAM was formed 11 years ago by a group of University of Saskatchewan Fine Arts graduates who were looking for a space to work and showcase their art. Dave Stonhouse was one of those graduates, and today he not only leads BAM, but works closely with Saskatoon artists to help develop their skills and find their artistic voice. Rowan is one of the many local artists who are grateful for Dave's mentorship and guidance.
I have known of Dave for some time. I've been an admirer of his practice for quite a while, and last summer I was doing an independent project where I kind of sought out mentors throughout the city as artists, and he was one that I selected. And we'd never really met or talked, and I kind of cold emailed him and pitched the idea, and he loved it. And he's just such a he takes on so much and does the most with what he can, and he's so ambitious and willing to help the little guys, because he also was that little artist at one point. I mean, he's not little. He's like the tallest man I've ever met. But he really sees something in young artists, and I think maybe he sees himself in young artists, and there's just something about him. You know, he's a teacher at a high school, and I think he just loves helping young minds flourish and seeing them succeed. So I'm sure that's what makes him so special, among many other things.
Another artist Dave has worked with over the years through BAM is Brody Burns. Brody is from James Smith Treaty 6 territory and lives in Saskatoon. He first crossed paths with Dave when he was selling his art at the Remai Modern Art Museum in 2019 and has since gone on to show his incredible art not only throughout our city but recently in Vancouver as well. Brody kindly sent me this voice note on his friendship with Dave.
He introduced me to Bridges Art Movement in 2019, where he and the BAM team gave me my first solo residency. This was huge for me, as it was my first time putting myself out there as an artist. BAM gave me the support and opportunity to grow as an artist, as well as meet people in the Saskatoon art community. They really helped me come out of my comfort zone. I think this is crucial for the art scene in Saskatoon. There's so much talent in the city with not a lot of opportunities to show their work. That's where Dave and BAM have really stepped up to help. Since my residency at BAM, Dave has been one of my good friends. He supported me through my transition from psychology to completing my Master of Fine Arts at the U of S. He's always been willing to listen to my crazy ideas and offer input or suggestions. He always keeps me posted on opportunities that fit my art style, as well as offering help with grant writing for financial opportunities. He's an incredible artist, an educator, an activist, a family man, and I think one of Saskatoon's most important figures in the art community.
At a time when local artists are working hard to find spaces to share their talents, Dave Stonhouse and the BAM Collective are ensuring those emerging voices are being heard. Now, I've known Dave for years, as he used to teach at Mount Royal Collegiate with my wife. He currently teaches at Nutana Collegiate and sees the world through such a unique lens, which I think comes through wonderfully in our conversation. We also discuss why working with emerging artists is so fulfilling and how being a father to a very busy 3-year-old boy has changed his relationship with art. Dave and I sat down in the BAM Gallery and Project Space a few days before Rowan Dinsmore's show, and I started by asking what it's like as a curator to hand over a space to an artist like Rowan.
Yeah, it's super exciting. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes I get worried because some artists procrastinate, and I'm just like, are they going to come up with something? The clock is ticking. But it's usually a lot of fun, and there's always some type of learning or some type of growth. And I find that that is golden, especially as an artist. different eyes get to see it, different artists get to have communication with that, so their practice gets to evolve in different ways and become like people's thoughts and ideas, and gets seen and heard in different, like, different directions. Yeah. So there's always a lot of cool things, the discoveries that happen, and it's nice to see the journey.
In Rowan's case, like, did you, in these past few months, like, did you see, like, her maybe learning things, or yourself too? Like, what was it like to see her kind of grow in these last 2 months, and as the show developed?
Oh man, Rowan had like 500 ideas, and all of them were good. So it was like, what is she actually gonna do? Because this thing that she's doing could have came in so many different ways. So that was kind of exciting to see her like maybe edit out that process and decide what she actually went for. But I think even some of that, like those possibilities could emerge later on. So yeah, it's been fun to watch what happens. But I really want to also chat with Rowan more to unpack kind of where she was going with it all, because you can only get so much when you just come in for a short visit.
Yeah. Do you enjoy that part of your role, Dave, in terms of like getting to know the artist a bit more? And like, I find, as someone who's not very artistic at all, I find the process of how artists work, whether they're visual artist or audio or a musician, like just the process of how they work, so fascinating. Like, do you enjoy that part?
Absolutely. Like, I'm a practicing artist, and like every artist that comes in here has their own angle and their own kind of like way that they approach art or process. So seeing how other people do it is actually really gives me a lot of ideas too. So that's exciting for me. And then it's all about like kind of what will happen with this moment, with this engagement, with this opportunity. And sometimes it just absolutely blows me away. And then as this like art papa in a lot of ways, you see something that they do later on, and it's usually at a larger gallery, and it's like, oh, BAM was the catalyst of that project. And it's like, that is the very best thing. It's like seeing your kid graduate from high school or something, because you know that they were working on this idea, experimenting in BAM, and then now they're showing at the Remai Modern, or now they're in Estevan or some other center, continuing that what they started here.
Oh, that must fill you with so much like pride and joy then.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's the most rewarding part of it.
How did you get involved with BAM?
Okay, so BAM is actually 11 years old now. So we've been around for a little while in different forms. We were looking for studio spaces. So we were about to, me and a group of friends were about to graduate with our BFAs from the University of Saskatchewan. And we were looking around at what we might do next. And with the University of Saskatchewan, it's great. They supply you with a very small art studio, and you're in this little bubble. But they don't really prepare you for the outside world. And we were kind of surveying our options in Saskatoon, and it was pretty bleak. Like, what would happen as like the next stepping point in our career, there wasn't options. There was like maybe a few coffee shops, or hang your stuff at Amigos, but there wasn't a lot of different like places for you to continue your journey and grow professionally. So we kind of like, in a very Saskatchewan way, did this like DIY thing where we found a space and had group studios in part of it, but then we had a gallery space in the other part. And just trying to make opportunities for us and friends, and then eventually just other artists in Saskatchewan.
When you were with your friends and you're about to graduate with your fine arts degree from the U of S, like, was it scary at all to know, like, I don't know what's gonna happen next, like here in Saskatoon, like in terms of your artistic career? Was that nerve-wracking a bit?
Yeah, a bit, for sure, because like the classic trope is like starving artist, and even while you're taking an art degree, people are like, okay, and then what? And what will you do after? Where's the job going to be? And part of that's true. I have a job that pays the bills, and art is my second job. But yeah, definitely nerve-wracking. And like with anything, I think it's what you do with it, right? So yeah, we just wanted to take control of what we could do and create those opportunities for us instead of waiting for them to happen.
Is it still the same group of students that like back in the day, like your colleagues that are still running BAM?
There's a few of them, yeah. So Derek Sandbeck and Andy Palanchuk are original members, and Alexa Hainsworth came in, I think, maybe year 2. So she's still kind of like an OG member. Yeah, and then there's been a few people that have come and gone.
Okay. Yeah. What has it meant to you to be a part of this since day one?
Yeah, it's been a great ride. I think the Saskatoon arts community is amazing. Saskatchewan, in general, our arts community is amazing. There's a ton of support. So to be part of that and to be like this like DIY grassroots thing that has very little funding, and having like these larger centers recognize you and congratulate you and be treated as one of them kind of thing has been really great. And yeah, it's been really good just to be able to be part of that community and to also give back. Yeah.
Why is giving back important to you?
Well, like I recall those times when I was just coming out of university and being a little bit scared and hopeless or wondering where it's going to go, and we have this avenue and this project space, and we can give that opportunity for other artists to grow. And being back in those shoes, I was just begging to unleash, to go crazy, to have those opportunities. So recognizing that with other artists and being able to provide that for them is just really sweet.
Do you see that in young artists today, that urge to like, I just want to create, and I just want to get my art seen. I want a space to do this in. But do you recognize that in today's younger artists in the city?
Yeah, for sure. It seems like the young artists, there's this kind of like immediacy kind of thing that I think is generational, that they think they got to be discovered and it's going to be a quick thing. Where I think with art careers, you have to, it's a grind and it's a slow, but you got to just keep on with the momentum. So at the amount or the time lengths might change, but I do see young artists here in Saskatoon coming out, even mid-career artists that are just ready to take any opportunity, anything that they can get, and just go crazy.
You mentioned like the grind and recognizing that it is like it can be a slow process. Did you know that, or is that something that you had to learn as an artist? Yeah, I kind of figured that out pretty early, or because otherwise you almost have to tell yourself that so you can sleep at night. But yeah, there's part of being an artist too is looking at other artists' careers, and there's a ton of artists that get discovered, or they're big breaks or whatever when they're in their later stages of their career, but it's not at that point that they get good. They've been working on it so long that they've been developing a body of work or a language or a way of working that leads to that. So you have to put in the time, and you have to be naively optimistic and just put in the work, and hopefully things are going to work out. Do you, as someone, because I view you, one of the reasons why I've wanted to have you on the podcast for a while, and I'm so glad it worked out for this month. One of the reasons why, though, is I view you as a leader in our city's artistic community, and I don't know if mentor is too strong a word, but I view you as someone who it maybe fulfills that role here in the city. So in that role, like are artists today, are they receptive to, like when you tell them like, you know what, it's going to take a while, like that immediacy most likely won't happen? Like are they open to that, or do you have to, you know, repeat that message a couple times?
I don't know if I get into that type of coaching mode that often with artists in the community, but like I think it's sort of receptive. But I think of like there's artists here that I've worked with and that I've tried to be a mentor for, and I feel like with their talent and what they're doing, it seems like every year could be their year. So, like for instance, like Brody Burns. I love Brody Burns. We had like one of his biggest kind of one of his breakout experiences through a BAM residency, and then he moved on to MFA work that really kind of launched where his career is going and where he's at right now. But everyone in the community knows Brody's going to make it. It's just a matter of time. So he's a guy that thinks, why isn't this going on? Why aren't I getting these opportunities? Like getting caught up with in the moment things. But we all just got to say, hey, keep going, man. It's going to be your year, if not this year, next year. Because, yeah, that kid, he's going to be national or even bigger.
I was at his 525 opening, and which was amazing, and but I didn't realize that he had a show here. So that sort of circles back to when we started. Like you must have read a proud papa when you saw that show.
Definitely proud papa moment, yeah. And Brody and I have had a relationship for a while, but yeah, that show was incredible, and like what a excellent platform the 525 did with presenting his show, because that show was like super pro, massive scale, lighting, everything was on point, and yeah, they really mobilized to create such an incredible experience for a young artist. So, but yeah, like Brody, that's all him. He's got the fire in him, and he's going places.
Do you find that our Saskatoon artistic community, is it supportive? Is it nurturing? Is it like we're all here for you, as opposed to maybe some other, I don't want to say bigger centers, because maybe it is supportive in bigger centers as well, but I've read and seen in terms of like it's a bit more competitive perhaps, but is there that supportive community here?
Absolutely. Like there is the old guard, or what you'd call them, that have been incredibly supportive, and they're some of your biggest cheerleaders. They send you messages and come out to shows and just are right there with you. So hearing that from them, and these guys are like the Emma Lake, like abstract artists, or Mary Lanou, or professors at the university, or curators that come in or visit the Remai, or like things like that. So it's been incredibly supportive, and we are just like a small, close-knit community that we are. I don't think it's a competitive thing at all. It's kind of like your brothers and sisters winning, and you're cheering them on.
Yeah. Is it fun to be a part of that community?
Absolutely. Yeah. Love it. It's great.
I wonder if that's just like a Saskatchewan thing, like it's just the nature of the people. I'm just remembering, like when I worked at CBC and having the opportunity to interview some amazing provincial artists, whether in Saskatoon or across the province, and a common theme was like it's a supportive, nurturing environment, and you wish you want as many opportunities to show your art as you can, but do you have any thoughts, Dave? That's a big question, but like why it is so supportive in a place like Saskatoon or even Saskatchewan?
I don't know. I think like Saskatchewan it's a funny thing. I think since we're population-wise a small province, that we are all kind of creating our own opportunities or working together to make things happen together. So there's like Saskatchewan just has so many like DIY things, and there's not like a ton of like commercial money coming in from, you know, some like, you know, I don't know, rich people or whatever that other centers might have for buying art. So you're kind of like all in this together, I feel like, and there's just like in a small population, tons of opportunities, tons of support. So I think it's kind of like the nature of the beast. And I think there's also something about like the climate and everything like that. Like I've thought about why the prairies are like a creative like hub. You know, we have so many artists, but musicians and writers and like all sorts that are here in this like small center, you know. And I think there's like something about the weather in the prairies, these extreme weather things, that we're huddled up in dark areas and, you know, getting to know each other in living rooms and kitchens and things like that in the winter time. And then we're frolicking outside and rejoicing in the sun 6 months later, kind of thing. So I think some of that kind of those extremes creates community and creates creativity.
That was that was very inspiring, Dave. But you're so right. You think of like all the authors and all the musicians, and yeah, like our winters are cold. But then, like you said, I like how you use the word frolic, because like even on a day like today where it's nice and warm, you just see people. It's like their shoulders are down. They're happy to be outside. It's just like I can go out and enjoy the world. That was a really nice answer, Dave.
Yeah. The sun's shining and you're just shining on people.
Yeah. Was there any time, Dave, with your own art, that you thought, I want to go somewhere else and try and, I don't know if make it's the right word, but just to go somewhere else, or maybe you did? Like, did you think about going to other places?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's that's a constant thought, or you know, a lot of artists think about that. But like with the way that the world works, you could be part of larger centers and still have Saskatoon as a home. So that might mean traveling and spending time in other places, or having gallery representation in a different province, or artist residencies or something like that, but then coming back home and living here and making your work here. So that's been kind of the major kind of thought. And then, you know, I got roots here and everything like that too. So it'd be hard to leave with what I've got going. But yeah, I think it's we talk about Saskatoon being like a close-knit community, but like Canada art too is a very close, tight-knit community too. So yeah, if you get shown in other larger centers, it kind of spreads the word of mouth and everything. So yeah, you just become part of more of the conversation.
Really, I didn't know that. So like, with your work with BAM, then, like, are you in touch with other like curators and different artists, just to see, like, in other places, just to see what they're doing as well?
So there are artist-run centers, and there's a network of artist-run centers throughout Canada, and like BAM is an artist-run center. We're just like, maybe not officially that's our title or whatever, but yeah, we have communication and just chatter sometimes with other things going on, visiting artists come into town and they want to know what's happening, where's the DIY spaces or the project spaces, because a lot of times these spaces are the exciting ones, because there's such a quick turnover. You think of a show, you ask about the show, and all of a sudden you're doing it like 3 to 9 months later, compared to like another institution where you go and you do a call and then you do it like 2 years later. So that kind of like immediacy, having that energy behind work that you want to work on, shows, and it's kind of palpable, and it doesn't get stale, because it's like right on the tip of your brain and you want to work at it, and yeah.
I was just going to say, like, that must be so exciting. to have that opportunity to like, yeah, you've got this idea, and then you can quickly, well, maybe not quickly, but like you can get it, you can produce it, you can get it off your mind and onto a canvas or in some other way. But that must be exciting as an artist.
Well, yeah, that's how it is as an artist in general, right? You have these brilliant ideas that are like just fresh and exciting, but if they don't get acted on, they turn into like funky farts. Like they're just like they get stale if there's no action, and then you're just like, oh, that was a bad idea. But if you act on them, then it's exciting, and it usually will lead to something else that's even more exciting that will generate something new.
Is that how you work as an artist?
Yeah, usually. Usually I come up, well, being an artist in general, I think it's like a way of seeing the world. So you have these like I don't know, AR, augmented reality goggles on at all times, where you see art and inspiration everywhere. So like it's just kind of how you live. And then you see like art around me all the time, and I just have to like write it down or think about it or take a picture, and then that will lead to something. And usually you got to treat the art process as, I'm just testing this out instead of being precious about it, because usually if you test it out and you try this thing, it sucks, but there's something to learn in what you just did that's golden for the next thing.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you there, because if I were an artist and I was thinking like you, and I tried it, and if it sucked, I would get frustrated, and I'd be like, oh, and I would move on to something else, or I'd be like, I'm not good at this, and I'd be done with it. But you say that there's much to learn from that. If something maybe doesn't meet the high standard or the exact idea in your brain, there's something to learn from it.
Yeah, well, this is like usually with new ideas and new bodies of work or whatever that you're kind of exploring. But absolutely, you have to be prepared to fail, but somewhere in that journey, there is something that's gonna go, and you're gonna take it and run with it. So lots of times that is like the first work that leads up to something that's really successful. It's like, this failed, this failed, this failed. Ooh, I like this. And then you're going to take that out, and then you're going to like go nuts on that or explore that, and then that'll learn into a big epiphany thing that'll be the big one.
Wow. Has that happened for you recently?
Has it happened to me recently? Oh my God. A little bit, right? Like my life right now is kind of a balancing act. So I haven't really started much new work, but there's a few techniques and things that I'm exploring right now they're just like, this is something that's gonna be like really epic for later. So I had an alt house show last month where I tried a new framing technique, because like my paintings are paintings, but they're also objects. So it's not really about necessarily what's on the surface, it's about the whole object. But I created this like custom frame that was hand carved and used a bunch of techniques that I've never done before. And that is going to lead to a lot more of this high level kind of woodworking and things like that. And then I've been doing paper pulp kind of building as a new way to work sculpturally that I think is going to just open up a lot of more like of my artist toolkit with some of my applications.
Wow, this is so exciting. I was just thinking too, as you were describing the process, it's sort of like when you hear the demos from like one of your favorite bands, and maybe you discover the demos years later and you're like, oh, that demo sounds so different, but you can hear like the bass line from that song that eventually becomes the song from the album and fell in love with, but like the rest of the song's so different, but there's that one thing that grows into something.
Yeah, it's like raw, but then there's like golden nuggets in that raw whatever tape that leads into this like big hit.
Yeah. Have you always been passionate about art? Like, where does this come from, Dave?
Yeah, I've always been passionate about art, but it's kind of funny to say this, that like academic art almost killed my creativity as a young artist, because I was always like a nonconformist, but I was always doing art. So like really young age, I was always drawing, and all sorts of like hands-on stuff. But when I was in school, there was a whole different way of teaching art, where there was like hierarchies, and there was good art versus bad art, and then and it was mostly based around traditional academic art, but also realism. And if you look at all of my art, there's nothing like remotely realistic involved at all. So it took a lot of kind of like experimenting, but then I did a graphic arts class where it was like a mixture of printmaking and photography and other things. And I thought, oh, this is like process driven. This is experimental. This is like just playing with materials and having discoveries around those kind of things and application, rather than making this thing look like a photograph. So that class kind of like was something that really got me going, and then I think I just continued to follow it after that.
Is it like at any point did you worry at all, like, you know, you're passionate about art, and it's so clear now, like I think you have a very distinct voice, and oh, that's a Dave piece when I see it. But like at any point, like when you were in university and that academic art is sort of pushing against you, did you think like, oh, like I don't want to sort of lose my passion or lose my voice at all?
Well, yeah. Well, like it's hard to find that voice, right? So because there's just so much noise and so many values of other people involved too. So there was a while where I was throwing anything at a canvas to try to find what really stuck, right? So it like my art back in maybe those early university days could, like, if you line them beside each other, it could be 4 artists' work, but it was just, you know, oh, let's see what this looks like. This is graffiti style. This is, you know, cartoons. This is whatever, until you really find the thing that's your thing. But at the same time, I don't think you should ever pigeonhole yourself or whatever, right? So you don't want to just be that guy that does that thing, but you got to find your voice and really, go all in.
And that leads nicely back to what we were started from, in terms of like, now you're helping local artists find their voice. Like this is so cool, Dave. You must do you love what you're doing with BAM and everything? Like it must be so fulfilling.
Yeah, for sure, it's fulfilling. It's almost like being like a board member or something like that, because like. Just so the listeners know, BAM is currently unfunded, so we're at a constant struggle for funding, and I don't have a paid position, and nobody really does. So it's this kind of like passion project that when you're like a dad and you're a professional and you have a mortgage and all these other things going on, sometimes that balancing, or being pulled in all these directions is tough. But definitely, like, just being with artists and seeing the process and seeing how they engage with the space is just like so rewarding that I just don't want it to end.
I hope it doesn't end for you, because you're clearly doing amazing work. You've touched on it a little bit in terms of how busy your life is right now. You are a teacher at Nutana, and you're a relatively new father. How do you, as an artist, how do you find time to pursue your artistic passions when you're a full-time teacher and as you were telling me before, you are exhausted all the time from being a dad?
Yeah, and like art is something that is this like special kind of energy that you can't really harness unless you have like a good fertile, like perfect conditions. Otherwise, this like thing is not going to grow and not going to, do anything. So, like I might not be exhausted some nights, but the art energy might not be there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's definitely a balancing act, and it's tough. But I forget the question. How do I find the energy?
Yeah, because you're like, being a full-time teacher is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then being a young dad is a lot of work. Like, where are you still able to find the energy once in a while?
Yeah. So I have a thing where I have a studio night that I try to keep on a scheduled basis. So, like, even though I might not be super productive or whatever, I'm putzing around the studio, I'm looking at paintings, I'm playing around with something, and that just makes sure that, it's like almost like a shift. If you schedule that, then you're still going to be, operating and exercising those things. So, try to keep to that like scheduled night, and usually if that happens, then you're working on something, and then you're just like, that continues the passion. So I'd be like, oh, I gotta sneak out and do this color on there, or I've been thinking about this for 5 days, and I'm gonna go do this. So it just keeps you going. So that's, I think, really important. But I also think taking a break is good too, because sometimes you need to take a step back and then come back to it, and you might see things with a different light or create something totally new and get out of that kind of routine. So that's part of it as well. To be honest, like, I have art that I, putz around with, but any free time at all, I'm going out and I'm gardening right now. It's like I got the green thumb, spring fever thing, and I just want to go outside, putz around my acreage, plant some trees, whatever. It's like touch grass, man. That's what I want to do.
Do you think there's a connection between being an artist and gardening?
Absolutely, for sure. Like, if I could get paid as like a flower arranger or whatever you might call it, I would love to be a flower arranger. I've done some landscaping, and I think landscaping, we hear all the water. There's a restaurant above us, so every once in a while we hear a bunch of water. Anyway, landscaping, I think, is definitely like a form of art, because, you're looking at this like topographic, sculptural piece, and you're playing with colors, and you're playing with textures, and then there's levels of ground cover and trees and things like that I could do that as a job as well. I love landscaping.
Wow.
Yeah.
It must be. I envy you, Dave, because like you said, you view the world through a very like unique lens, like an artistic lens, and you're seeing things, and it's because I don't think a lot of people. I am certainly. When I look at my backyard, I see, oh my gosh, there's where our two dogs, Sam and Wiley, pee all the time, and how are we going to fix that?
Yeah.
You would probably see that and see something different, and I envy you for that.
Yeah, I think so. I think I've been warped or whatever by art history and just engaging with art and always searching for more and for inspiration. But I think that's just like the nature of it, and like so many people with different occupations will see that in the wild too. I'm sure walking around an alley with an engineer, and I'm an artist, and there's another person that's an anthropologist, are all going to be noticing completely different things, or maybe the same thing, but having 3 different narratives, and that's so fun.
Oh, I love it. You've been very generous with your time today. I just have one quick question I want to ask you before you go. How has fatherhood changed you as an artist and maybe as a curator, your role in the arts, but how has fatherhood changed things?
Oh, wow. That one is a tough one. You know what, fatherhood has completely changed who I am. So this is going to sound super corny, and then you guys can turn this off after. But when I became a dad, my heart grew 3 times. And so just the world hits different now, and I'm like see things so much more empathetically and tenderly. I'm gushy. I cry during TV shows, even commercials. So just like being part of the world and seeing things differently. I'm even like yelling at drivers. Like I used to be that driver, but now I'm saying, "Oh, don't you know that's way too fast?" or something like that. Like I got a kid, or something. I don't know. So yeah, I am definitely engaging in the world differently. But also, I think time has changed. So, like walking with my toddler son. And I have massive, I'm 6'4", long strides, and he has the tiniest little footsteps. And this kid, I don't know what it is, he has laser focus on the most minute things, and he can find details in anything and have the questions that I would never generate. So it's like I'm noticing parts of the world in different ways and taking things way slower and being okay with that, but also just like seeing the angle of the world shifting in so many ways and having these fresh little mind and eyes on things. It's challenging norms. It's seeing things as a brand new like alien life form. He's not an alien, but pretend. So it's like, yeah, really cool that way. And I think that's really good as an artist too, because that's what you're here for. It's like you are like a lens of culture that culture is all around you and is going through your brain, and you are mutating it with all of your perceptions and thoughts and your identity, and you're spitting it out. And people take that, and hopefully they like it.
Thank you for answering that. I just think it's so cool because you mentioned like he's noticing things that you hadn't noticed, and then I think you notice things that probably 90% of the population would notice through that lens. So that's pretty cool. He has his own unique lens at he's 3 right now?
3 years old.
And he has his own lens that he's viewing the world through. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's pretty great. Like, yeah, it's just the best.
Dave, if people want to learn more about BAM, how can they learn?
Well, the best way to follow BAM things is through our Instagram. So, we do have a website, bridgesartmovement.com, but BAM Saskatoon on Instagram is probably the best way to stay up to date. Eventually we would like to get a newsletter and everything like that, but that's just more energy and more things that might happen when we get renewed funding. But in the meantime, it's pretty bare bones, and we're just doing artist takeovers. So we'll see what how things pan out. But BAM Saskatoon at Instagram is probably the best spot.
I admire the work that you do with BAM, and not just you, but your collective. And I've been a fan of yours for many, many years, and I know my wife is as well. We just think you're wonderful, and I've never really been able to pick your brain like I've been able to do today. So thanks for letting me do that. I know you're very busy, so I appreciate the time, and I'm excited to see like what you create next. So thanks, Dave.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Thanks all those listeners that are listening to this great podcast. I love like celebrating and creating this community that you've done yourself. And there's been so many like cool angles and voices and stories that are totally worth sharing and learning about, because this life and this community that we have it's just like there's so many pieces of this like cool place.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Eric.
This has been the Season 7 finale of YXC Underground. My name is Eric Anderson. I host, produce, and edit this local independent podcast. You can follow and listen to YXC Underground wherever you find your favorite podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the website yxcunderground.com. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review if you like what you hear. My thanks to Saskatoon's Molly Shikoski for taking some amazing photos of Dave in the band gallery and project space. You can see them by searching YXC Underground on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I also want to thank my cousin Andrew Dixon for the original music in this episode, and to Saskatoon's Danger Dynamite for maintaining the website. This is the final episode of Season 7 of the podcast, and I really want to thank all of you listeners for your incredible support this year. We shared a wide variety of stories this season, everything from yoga for patients in the Adult Short-Stay Mental Health Unit at Royal University Hospital, to the emphasis put on community by the Saskatoon Symphony Orchestra, from EAL teachers in elementary and high schools here in Saskatoon, to learning how to safely administer naloxone to a person in distress. We even hosted a movie night at the Remai Modern, which was so much fun. We covered a lot this season, and I'm grateful you came along for the ride. I am also grateful to all of the people who took the time to share their stories and passions with listeners. It's not easy talking into a microphone, and I really do appreciate their courage in telling their stories. I will be taking July and August off to gather interviews for Season 8, which will drop in September, but be on the lookout for a bonus episode or two this summer. And if you know someone or an organization who you think would be a wonderful guest on the podcast, let me know. There is a nomination form on the website, or you can email me directly at ericanderson@gmail.com, and you can also get in touch with me through social media. Thank you again for all of your support, and I hope you have a wonderful summer. Before I go, I would like to acknowledge that these interviews were gathered on Treaty 6 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis. YXC Underground is a production of the Salthammer Production Company. My name is Eric Anderson. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you soon, Saskatoon.